not criticizing the peace, because now we are the solution makers. Any questions?
I just remind the viewers that they can put up their hand if they would like to speak or ask a question, and I can promote you to a panelist that way.
Is there a way to phase the current leaders into the process of transition to make it easier?
Who is speaking? When you speak, please declare who you are, where you are from, please.
This is Mark Erb. I'm from Alexandria, Virginia, and I'm wondering if there's a way we can phase the world leaders in so that they participate with the transition.
They will do. There is no choice. You have to understand, I always said, businessmen make the politicians because they decide how much business the presidents and the kings will have. Now we are all in the business of peace, so we dictate. They follow. There is no choice. The beauty of it is when we release the production of the generator, we still go and produce, the Keshe Foundation will still produce the generators, we still deliver the generators. But we allow those who want to do, will do. The production of energy will force the government. We will see the new summits which are coming up, the opening of the United Nations, will all be affected by the release of this technology. Is the introduction of the new 6, what we call continental councils, which will dictate the position of the change. Not the present, because they always try to cover themselves in one way or another. I have no trust in no one except trusting that I want to deliver peace. That should be in the logo of every man, that I trust myself, that I want to deliver peace, I will deliver peace, and I don't have the trust in the old because they're always twisted in a way to have something on top. They will change. There is the point will come very soon. Two choices we go. We go through total chaos, absolute chaos for a short time, or we go through a time when the governments will take charge to go through the transition. They have to. There is no choice. When I release the development of the energy units, and you all can do it, do you need a government to give you energy? When you can know how to make food and whatever, you can produce as much as whatever you need. We've seen the beginning of it, and we will deal with a bunch of people who understand it. Then what I call there is no need for world leaders to play the game they have played up to now. There is a big problem. The problem sits not with the world leaders. It sits with who's behind what dictates the move. But most of these people who dictate what the presidents do sit within the world of finance, sit within the world of control of money. We take those away. They can have gold as much as they like. The point which is going to come, which is that's why I asked for the One Nation Police Force to be set up by the people who are expert in this job, is to bring in all the presidents and the kings who have done wrong. Literally, in the coming weeks, you will see a large number of world leaders behind the bar. They will walk in themselves. People will bring them in, not us. You will see the books open up. We've seen the Panama Files. We've seen the others which has opened up. the fans will open up like nothing. They will walk in. I have made it very clear. The One Nation police force have power over any other rulers or anything else. And you will see what I mean when we deliver. There'll be no battles and no wars and whatever. We make these people to walk in and hand themselves over and tell what they've done. I was told in the past few days, why don't you speak about the situation with a possible, doubtful future President of the United States, Hillary Clinton? We all know what was the outcome. We all know how it happened. We know she's mentally not in a position after the stroke she had, landing in Ahvaz airport, to be in a position of leadership. It's very clear. You put a man into prison, man brings with his peace the end of yours. Go back. I was arrested in Canada. 11 days I was told every day I'll be shot killed. They didn't keep me in Canada. I was such a stupid scientist. The Canadian had much better. So they sent me back to the people who they planned my arrest and everything else, back to the hand of the wolves in Belgium. And then you have to understand what happened. Months later, we delivered the USB stick and the wolves went to bite. American government asked for the key, and in that key condition we put the hand of peace. I did, and we know what happened. Clinton landed in Ahvaz airport, the plane crashed and she went through a head injury. And today we see consequences of that accident. All been explained with us in past 2-3 years. It's nothing new. So we already see there is an end to any presidential seat. All the seizures we've seen, all the conducts we've seen is the byproduct of the brain damage. And it was what caused to them, to us, it was a natural process of the soul's balance. This is what they will learn. There are kings who done so wrong and they're waiting, they think they die and it dies with them. Before they die, they will see their own, what they call judgment. The problem is not us anymore. The problem now sits among themselves, how to save their lives from what is about to come to them by themselves. Don't waste a minute of energy to do something, to do it. Develop fast. They walk in. The best solution for us is to disarm United States Army, Navy, and Air Force, but not harming a single American, not harming a single person. Just disarm the tools of war. That's all it is. If I take the bullet out of a gun, the gun is nothing but a battery. If I take the control system of an intercontinental missile, which is not there to function, is what it is in the ground, another root, another piece of metal. This is what we are offering. But at the same time, after that, we offer the same to the United States, that the others don't become superpowers, because nobody will be super over nobody. I walked and talked the peace. Now we deliver the peace, and you will see how fast we move. Anything happens to the process of what we planned, we release more and more energy, more and more systems that it forces peace. For the first time, man takes charge over his own destiny than being told what to do. We don't need governments because we don't need to be governed, because each one of us governs his own conduct. There will be a mayhem, there is no doubt about it. Free energy, people making gold, people everything else, taking the fools who don't understand, but very soon, next 6 months, 10 months, whatever, people will start understanding there is a balance, there is equality. It's like people who've been waiting to win the lottery. Now they win the lottery, they go on the mayhem for a while, and then they settle down because everybody has everything else. We have to set up a new structure. People who sit in the background with the Keshe Foundation come up with solution. How this structure has to be just, fair for black, white, American, Chinese, Iranian, anybody, because we're all one family. Would you not feed your son if you're feeding the other? Or do you feed whatever it is equal to all of them? Medias, get in touch with, teach as much as you can. I have enough to live. I don't need to take more. This is one thing you understand, and I'll explain many times. I have closed all the accounts of mine. I like to have a cup of tea. My foundation pays for it because you allowed me to support the foundation to do, and whatever I earn from the foundation goes back in the foundation. This is how all of you got to understand to work. There are no banks in the universe, no churches, no mosques, no central intelligence, nobody spies on no one. Because nobody wants to be higher. The problem with us is, as humans, we allowed ourselves to be lower than the others, that they took charge over us because we accepted the submission. By beating, by murdering, by killing, by blood, in the past centuries and thousands of years we done. I wrote a paper some time ago, and if you understand what I mean, then you understand the rest. In the Iranian Revolution of 1979, not a single Iranian killed another Iranian. They were all killed by the Palestinians who were brought in by the British to kill as much, create mayhem and blood that frightens a peaceful nation into submission. And this is how it's been the pattern. You see the pattern in Syria, you see the pattern in Libya, you see the pattern now in South Asia. By blood and killing, you bring people to submission. Now, what for? We change the position. People will not do, there will be no arms to kill. This has been the pattern of the British monarchy. By fear, you rule. Now the fear is back into their desk. The same thing has been with the Vatican. The same has been with other religious leaders, that same other rulers of the world. Now we don't do anymore. We don't kill. We see what happened in a state with Vietnam. People walked away. They went to prison, not to fight, and they became the winners. Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay is one of them. I'm not prepared to fight. Doesn't matter what you do. But I now have a technology which can change your mind. And then you confess to your own crimes. We don't need to change the world leaders. We go straight, they have nobody to lead because we know how we do. This is the beauty of it. Don't plan what we're going to do. Plan, change your state of mind. These are the things which I'm going to do correct to bring in, to be able to deliver this and this. And they will come, they will change. I wrote something to Arma this morning, and I'll read it to you, maybe you understand. He was worried that there was no time. You did this too quick, this sending of Douglas to Washington. I said to plan mean to get involved in organization of physicality. To wish and transmit your wish with your soul is the start of all. And physicality will manifest itself in the shape that the environment would allow it to be good for the time and the space. Now you may understand more. It is your wish that has started and ended the process. The act of physicality is the manifestation of the soul of the environment that the wish has been designated for. The wish to take shape. I wish it, and it's the soul of the planet. If it is ready, will accommodate it. I do not think of problem, as these are not part of my soul motion. We see how things turn up, and either way, it is the soul of the man and the planet that will allow for us to see the outcome tomorrow, which when we go to the White House, to see if the man is ready for new birth from today on. You shall understand one day. When we wish peace and we make the facilities for it, if the planet is ready, if the human race is ready, not those who think that the leaders will take shape or will come and will manifest itself. So I'm not worried about the world leaders. As you know, one of these world leaders, what I call charlatans, the kings, ex-kings, have gone to the extent to put the Keshe Foundation as, which is the most advanced scientific organization, as a terrorist organization. And they have put Warren as a terrorist and what do you call it? As a terrorist organization. We have the documents, we are not talking. I published this, then you know what's going on, what we have been working in the background with. You are all that when today we deliver the energy unit to the White House, you're all terrorists now because you're part of the Keshe Foundation. The terrorists called the people of science terrorists that they can carry on with terror. Now they have to look for a position. We know tomorrow at the White House there is nobody there. As I said yesterday, it's symbolic because they're irrelevant. Who is in that building is irrelevant. In the coming weeks, you will see people will burn down all the palaces and the presidential places because we have no need for them. They have been nothing but the burden on humanity. For one to be the better than the others and I decide what I want to do. For one to kill children just because of his mental state of dementia, of doing everything else, and you will find out they claim insanity. I was insane, I didn't know what I did. Somebody sent me a picture to show. We sent it to Rick. It shows when we are there what will happen, but it has a lot of truth in it in a joke way. Every effort will be made to stop this process, but you understand, we want them to stop this process. They have two choices and both ends in the same place. Tomorrow we deliver this technology to the White House. If they stop the process, the whole world will get it. If they accept it, because they accept it, they have to show it to the world. We still get the whole world seeing it. It's one bullet, and that bullet will land in the end of kingship, leadership. Because then they have to find a solution. This process is here. We have put a lot of backups. There is a lot of number of places we will flood the internet with the design. And this design is still getting upgraded. That's why we're holding it back, that we give you the fastest way to go through. And then what happens? They have nothing. The energy crisis will hit like nothing. If I release the design now, by tomorrow when Douglas will get to uh, Washington, price of oil will be in cents. We are trying to find a compromise, a time of transition, very short, maximum 30 days. Maximum 30 days. Because the hardship will reflect back on our own families too. We sit, we secure our position, but at the same time, we speak from the point of strength. We become the most powerful scientific organization on this planet with one aim, peace. The only people who will stop are the people who see what they've been using, abusing, has come to an end and they're not prepared. We will see kicks and shouts and shuffles. No problem. This is my instruction to all the people in the background. With those of you who are aware of the design, the pattern. In case anything happens to me, to Douglas, is your obligation on understanding such a thing has happened. You get a green light from me or Arman, you release the design. You release the technology in full. This is my wish. This is what I ask you to do. In case we see any resistance, as long as I'm alive, as long as Douglas is carrying on with his work, and we can deliver and it gets accepted and is accepted fully, do not release anything. If anything happens to me or Douglas, or any of you become aware of, flood the internet. You have the blueprints, and 6, 7 of you all know that. I have spread the blueprint in 4 continents. If you see anything, unless the worldwide network shuts down, flood it. Free the man. My life is not important. Release it, teach it. By tomorrow night, every man will have an energy system. Teach how to make water, teach how to make materials, and develop it. Make yourself independent. We have no choice but to change. As I said, it could have been a long-term draw up. We could have planned, we're going to bring this in, go papers, do everything else in 2 weeks' time, and get them all planning what they've done with Tesla and the rest to silence it, or a sharp, short end of the presidentialships and the kingship. We are not delivering an energy unit. We are delivering a bullet into the heart of leadership of this planet. Does not matter in what form or shape. We do not need this. We do not need them. But we give you a transition time. First time I gave 2 years to the government. This time I give 30 days. And if anything happens to stop, we release the blueprint. Put it this way, we've all been abused so much, we have nothing to lose, do we? Don't be afraid. The palaces and the presidential offices will be vacated very, very quickly, because the oil companies find out they can't sell oil. The food chain and people who control the food and dump food in the seas to keep a market running will have no say. I'm here to change, and I deliver my change. We're not talking, we are going to do it, we already have it. We have the technology. I think it's less than $10, you all can build it in one way or another. We need to create jobs. We need to create stability. We need to create the satisfaction of positiveness of every man. There should be only one prison on this planet. And that prison should be where the leaders and the rulers of the past have abused the humanity. Maybe we call it the zoo of leaders and let them alone in there to see what they do to each other as they've done to the others. The Universal Council and the world leaders, what we call the council, will decide on the position and the place. And I know many countries are prepared to offer an island for them to be the king of. As I said, we teach the president how to make the unit. And that's not for him to show to the world, for him to become equal like the others, that he can feed his family and look after them like a father does, that he doesn't need to accept no pressure from no one to abuse the others. I planned this for centuries and now we deliver. Because if we don't do, the mayhem is much bigger. And it's the time. The time has come when we deliver it. This is just symbolic, delivering of the energy unit to the White House. And those who have the right soul are there. As I said, if you would have brought the unit from somewhere else, they would have said it's brought in. I nourished it, I supported it, I knew it was going to come, where it's going to come from, and it's right down the road in the United States. We will start leading ourselves, not others leading us. We have to be correct. We have to deliver. We have to understand what we do. Don't wait for somebody to show reaction. Most probably, they instruct nobody to go to show even this, but they cannot shut down the internet. They cannot stop you from buying energy and supplying energy to yourself. They cannot stop you feeding yourself. When you don't need it, you don't want to spend money on it. Within a matter of months, everything collapses. And if you do it right, we should see a start of the collapse. If they release the technology, broadcast it out, you will see oil crisis will start. In fact, there is no crisis. The crisis for the oil companies, because now we start paying for the transition time what it should be.
Mr. Keshe, I can play that little 30-second video of the president and his speech. I think that's what you were referring to before, about oil and so on. You sent me the note.
There's a picture, he's jumping over the fence. I thought that was very funny.
Oh, no, this was his, this was his speech. Said he says, so we invested in wind, we invested in solar, and so on.
Yes, that's a good one, please. You
Okay.
understand this very, very easily. This is, as long as no copyright on it.
I don't believe so. It's from his speech, and I've cut it out. I believe it's okay to broadcast that.
Okay.
Okay.
This is from the United States President, now you understand.
I don't know if the audio is coming through there. Just a minute. Will I readjust it?
No audio.
Okay. Try it this way.
This is what he wished. That's why we are giving it to him this way. You will understand.
We invested in wind. We invested in solar. We invested in biomass. We're all about increasing energy efficiency and finding new, renewable, clean sources of energy. We don't yet have the technological breakthroughs that can completely replace fossil.
Actually, I think that is part of a copyrighted thing, so I don't want to play that. It had some music in the background. I didn't realize it was, I thought it was just a straight speech, which is part.
Okay, so can you take the speech out, write it down and put it there?
Yes, I can say what he said, absolutely. And I can type, print it out here right away. Let's,
Yes, print it on the screen, share the screen and print it.
okay. Just 1 second here.
I just somebody asked if we got a permit for the Washington. Our people in the background are talking directly into the White House. We have people who have the connection in that line. It says, would you like to read it, please?
Sure. It says, President Obama said, I believe this was a few years ago, 2010, he said, so we invested in wind, we invested in solar, and we invested in biomass. Where it's supposed to be we, somebody made a mistake there in the, let me just correct that. We are all about increasing energy efficiency and finding new renewable clean sources of energy. We don't yet have the technological breakthroughs that can completely replace fossil fuels. And let somebody here invent something tomorrow which would be very helpful. And if you have it, let me know.
That's why we are going to the White House. We're going to let him know we are here.
Yeah, and I believe that was in the main speech that he gives to the
Yeah, it reads, let's read, just something just come in, I just read it on the notes. Don't forget that this channel is open. It says, yes, we have a permit. Would you like to explain to us, Mark Erb, please, what permit you received?
Yeah, we got a permit for 25 people to share information on the mall for an hour and 15 minutes. And we could show a video demonstration or photographs only. They do not want me to bring any hardware because they think it's a safety threat.
Arman, you're in the background. Can you tell us what's our present position in respect to the hardware? Is Arman there? Is he awake or he went to sleep? Okay, our present position is that our connections within the structure of the government, especially through John Kerry, our attorneys in the state have opened the channel, and that it'll be received in the White House or through the White House. We've been given assurances the move is complete. You have to understand, we have one of the top attorneys in the United States working on this level for us. And we have direct access to the White House through our attorneys. We have one of the top attorneys in the US. They are working on it. They've been waiting for a video to see a second video. The first video they wanted in open. The video has already been submitted in the past hour or so, and the facilities are made with our connections with Colonel Hankey and the others in the background who have access to the White House for the technology to be received. So even if it takes till Monday, Tuesday, we stay put in Washington to see it through. And any demonstration, because the people at the White House a couple of days ago wanted us for the Yale University to check this, that is correct. And I saw it as a delay tactic, and that's why we start a move.
I'm hoping.
Yes.
I'm hoping that someone will contact me about noon and tell me how to get Douglas in the back door.
We don't need to go through the back door. We're working directly. It will be nice to know if you have the connection, but our attorneys are at the highest level with direct access to the White House, what you call leadership.
I just mean escondido,
What do you mean?
just so they're not afraid of a whole bunch of people running in.
No, no, no. The way it's done is very, very correct. This is how we delivered the peace message a few years ago to the White House. The thing is, this is hardware. We have to understand presidential security. Anybody can do these things, but we have people in position that we're waiting for this video, which was taken by Douglas. They asked it to be given or taken in a specific place that they could see it, because the first video was submitted, they understood it, and the second video was submitted less than an hour ago, the way they wanted it, so that they see there is no danger. It's a new technology, and in either case, we have people literally running in the background to see this can be handed over, not handed over, to be shown. We are not leaving any units behind with the White House. As I said, if the president likes, we show him how to make it, and if he likes, he can bring the camera in the Oval Office and get his hand dirty. And maybe you might understand when I said he might stay as a third term, because with this, all the people who were influential in the election of American policy making, who's going to be the next president, have no say anymore. We'll be in this array in the total presidential elections. And unfortunately, there is no choice. And we see it. There's a high possibility that there won't be. The people who finance who's going to be the president are the oil makers and people who control the wars. Now we take their tools away from them. They have nothing to say. In so many ways, it was the only solution. It's the only way you can change such a deep-rooted structure to take its legs away, which is based on. We don't need to borrow money from the banks anymore because you produce enough gold. How we're going to restructure it, it depends how the totality of the human race decides on what terms we're going to carry on. Because now we can print any paper as good as anybody else, and we can produce any material. We have to plan a new structure. And we are not going through the back door. We are powerful. We go through the front door to replace the president by literally man of peace of the council. It'll happen in the next short time coming. But the peaceful way, we don't need to. We are not terrorists. We are scientists. We are the new age scientists of the new plasma technology. We know the know-how. Any other information? Do we see Douglas in the background yet? Has he managed to have the people arrived yet that he can start his journey?
They just let us know that they're probably about 15, maybe 20 minutes away. So
that's nice to know. Douglas, I hope you heard me. Under no circumstances share the knowledge.
Of course, sir.
Okay. You keep it till we don't need to explain anything. The unit is on the table. You've done a beautiful video. We see it. I've seen it. It's what they wanted to show, that there is nothing connected to it. We keep this video as it's been asked for the White House at the time being, for the time being. Do not make any move unless you receive instruction directly from Brett. Brett is moving from Miami to Washington today.
Yeah.
The only person you receive instruction, the only person you receive what to do in respect to the White House comes only from Brett and Armin. No other, no other. These are the people, the connection between us and the White House connection. And are the only people who tell you what to do, what needs to be done. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So the only person you're answerable to is the head of the foundation worldwide, which is Armin, and Brett as the head of the security organization in the background, the contact with the White House. No other instruction, no other move. And I'm all the time, 24 hours on reach. We decide, we discuss with our security people in the background. Armin has a direct access, so does Brett. Decision made within the White House will be given to you by Armin and Brett. Armin, as the head of the foundation worldwide, has the right and is right to negotiate if I'm not present. Secondly, Brett has a direct connection with the White House. We stand by because that's the only channel. Do not make any move, do not discuss, do not show unless you're asked for by Armin or Brett, and it has to be, as long as we are here, we approve. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You don't hand anything over unless Armin tells you he's flying in from Los Angeles tonight. Brett is flying in from Miami, and everything is in the hand of Armin. He makes the final decision on the ground.
Excuse me, Mr. Kesh. Mark Erb is wondering, can he get a copy of the video in case he
No.
needs it?
No.
Even with his demonstration at the at Washington?
For the demonstration, yes, that's not a problem, but we don't want, this is a normal video, but they asked it to be outside. Because the video we released to them was inside, so they wanted it to be outside to make sure there is nothing behind it.
So will that be released to the public in the next little while, or?
Yes, we will do. Let the White House decide. We have to sit in the background. We have to sit. There are moves made. There are a lot of political moves made. We're talking to the Chinese in the background. The Chinese want a copy, urgent. The Russians have asked for a copy. My government, the Iranian government, is standing by for a copy because it's going to affect a lot of people. It's going to affect a lot of. We have to understand the chaos this thing is going to cause.